This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13, and it reads, Judging yourselves, is it a comely that a woman pray unto Yahweh uncovered? Verse 14, doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? In verse 15, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Makah, Kodash, Brakatham. Double honors shall go to apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone to continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, a great millstone, and like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. And also shalom to the sincere Akwats who will continuously learning in silence as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. This is Azariah Gabar representing the King is Coming channel back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right, so to you Akims, to you brothers, to you men out there, this lesson is for you. All right? And the name of this lesson this morning is, It is a Shame Unto Him. All right? Because let's be real. Mainly you 2/3 out there of you men, you guys want to insist on walking around with the super duper long hair. Okay? Whether it's dreadlocks or whether it's regular braids or just straight up stringy hair. Okay? That goes past your neck. All right? That's not what it's supposed to be. I'll read 1 Corinthians 11:14 again. Doth not even nature, and so this is a natural thing, itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? So this is unnatural, according to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, through the prophets. It is unnatural, and it's a shame unto you guys. All right, and listen, some of you may get offended. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but listen, I don't care. Straight up, I don't care. I have to preach and teach these gospels. Do not shoot the messenger. I'll always say that. You have a problem, you take it up with your creator when that time comes. And to me personally, got these men walking around with super duper long hair. I've seen some of these dudes with hair down to their asses. You look like a damn woman. Period. It's feminism. And you got these wicked women out there that's not on that higher spiritual elevation. They'll say, oh, that's sexy. I love a man with hair like that. Listen, it's been a downfall from the beginning of time since Adam and Eve, where the man listened to the damn woman and suffered the consequences and repercussions of doing so. All right? So we're going to move on to Ezekiel 44:16. And this was pretty much instructions to the prophet Ezekiel on how a man of the Lord is supposed to present himself. And it reads, they shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge or my instruction. Verse 17. And it shall come to pass that when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them, whilst they minister in the gates of the inner court and within. Verse 18. And they shall have linen bonnets upon their heads, and they shall have linen breeches upon their loins. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. Verse 19. And when they go forth into the inner court, even into the inner court to the people, they shall put off their garments wherein they ministered, and lay them in the holy chambers. And they shall put on other garments, and they shall not sanctify the people with their garments. Here's a point, verse 20. Neither shall they shave their heads, neither suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only poll their heads. All right? So the word poll means simply to trim down your hair. That's acceptable to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. But what is not acceptable is when you brothers decide y'all want to go baldy style like Tommy from Martin because it's sexy to the ladies. I've heard ladies all the time talking about, oh, I want a bald, tall, bald, sexy man. That's so sexy. I could rub my hands on his bald head. Okay? Again, listening to these damn women, instead of listening to the Lord, it's going to be equivalent to your ass being downtrodden, okay? And catching a missile at the end all be all. Listen, there was a sister that I once knew, and we had this debate years ago, saying the same thing. I want a tall, dark, bald brother. And I'm telling her, listen, that's against the Lord, being bald. It's one thing if your hair naturally falls off of your head. That's natural. But even now, in these days, you got technology that can help you to regrow your hair. Okay? But it's another when, again, like I said, brother be like, you know what? I think I'm going to change up my look. I want the ladies. So the next time I hit my hairstylist, I'm going to just tell them, listen, just shave it all off and polish it up nice and shiny so I could get the ladies. Okay, yeah, you go ahead. You do that and see what's going to happen. All right? You're not supposed to shave your heads baldy, period. Nor suffer their locks to grow long, like I just mentioned. You got these dudes out there with the crazy long ass dreadlocks or braids or just the stringy hair down to their asses. Cut it out. Cut it off. Pull it. Period. Y'all heard? So we go to the book of Leviticus 21:4, and it reads, but he shall not defile himself. Ooh, you see, and that's what you're doing also. You're defiling yourself when it comes to that. Being a chief man amongst his people to profane himself. Because again, that's what you're doing. You're profaning, you're dishonoring yourself. Verse 5. And I just mentioned this. They shall not make baldness upon your head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. Woo! So, basically, you're not supposed to go baldy style because it's a sex thing. You're not supposed to shave off your beard. If you have a beard, let it grow. And don't be lining up your beard. All right? That's another thing. Don't be lining it up. Maintain your beard, but don't line it up. Nor make cuttings or having tattoos in your flesh. Okay? Because I want to, tell a quick story before I proceed. This must have happened back in 2018. And I was working when I was still in New York City up in Harlem by 125th Street and Lenox Avenue by a building. And, I had my beard. Okay. It wasn't a problem at that particular location. But things didn't go well. And so I decided to separate my employment with that particular company that contracted that building. Okay. So once I did that, I was on the job hunt. And right away, I came across a position that required to be filled, with a similar setting as a fire, life safety director, security officer. So I knew I would have been in there like swimwear because I had the credentials and experience. And the job was very well paying, might I add. Okay, so I put in for it. And right away, I got a response. I was told to come in for an interview right away. So that's what I did. Brought all my credentials, my resume, looking presentable. So anyway, I believe it was an Amalek. It was a female Amalek security manager that interviewed me for the position. So everything was going smooth as butter. And she was about to give me the job, hands down. But then at the last second, she said, "Oh, sir, by the way, you're going to need to shave off your beard and be clean shaven." Right? So I'm like, "Oh, no, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. This is a biblical thing. I'm supposed to have a beard." All right. I'm Jewish. So, of course, she gave me that awkward look when I told her I was Jewish and that this is against my principles. I cannot do that. So she says, "Well, can you get a letter from your temple to prove what you're telling me?" I said, "Well, Miss, the rabbi that I had deceased, he's no longer around, so I can't do that." She said, "Well, can you go to another temple to get a letter?" I said, "Nope, I can't do that either." So she goes on to say, "Well, the president and the CEO of this company, he was in the military, so he's clean shaven. So this is what he wants from his subordinates." I said, "Well, ma'am, I'll get back to you." I shook her hand and I went up upon my way. So the point that I'm getting at is that I exhibited the faith to the Lord and that trust that I was able to find another gig that would accept my beard. Point blank. Because I could have easily just sold out and said, "Okay, no problem. I'll take care of it. I would become clean shaven." But no, I took my chances. And I said, "I'll give it to the Lord, give it to his hands." All right, so the Kodash told me, go to my old job that I was at before I went to Harlem, because the building was only like maybe 5 blocks away. So I took that walk over there just to shout out my former coworkers. And as soon as I got in there, I was getting the love. And then I hear my former supervisor. He said, "We got to talk. Come into my office." I said, "Okay, no problem." So we went to his office. He said, "I need you to come back. I need you to come back now." Just like that. I said, "Hey, no problem, brother." I said, "But I just need to just negotiate a couple of accommodating factors. One was a pay raise. And 2 was the ability to park in a hotel loading zone. Because I'm working overnight, so it shouldn't be a problem. So he said, okay, deal, no problem. We shook on it, and I got rehired to work back at that old spot. So again, my point is that according to the book of Baruch 3:8, it says that we're living under the curses, we're subjected to payments, and we're still in this day in captivity. So there are going to be times where a brother would have to sacrifice his beard for a damn job because he has to earn his daily bread. He has to survive, and the Lord understands this. But if you could try to fight against that and rehearse that righteous act, do that first. That's all I'm saying. Y'all heard? So enough of the babbling. Let's go to the book of Judges 16 and 15. And this is about Samson and Delilah, right? And it reads, and she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart or thy mind is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. Verse 16, and it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto his death. Verse 17, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there had not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Yahweh from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. Woo! Verse 18, and when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for her lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he has shown me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. Slakia. Verse 19. And she made him sleep upon her knees, because she pacified him. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off his 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. Woo! And again, the downfall of these mighty men because of the woman. I said it before, and I'll say it again. So what was his ultimate judgment because he allowed for her to do that? Well, his eyeballs got gouged out of his head. All right? And he died. That was his judgment. Because remember, the hair is a spiritual thing. All right? That's your strength. That's just your spiritual strength is a man's hair on his head. That's why the Lord commanded for us men not to make our heads bald. Because you are giving up your spiritual strength in the process. Y'all heard? So I'm going to close out this beautiful lesson today. Hopefully some edification comes about it. So you Akims, take heed to what I'm telling you. Don't make your head baldy because it's a sex thing. And do not let your hair grow past your neck. You heard? So with that, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Makak, Kodash, Brakatam, Kwam, Yasharala, Rise Israel. And as always, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.